So today we're talking about Demon Hunter. They're a band from Seattle, Washington, and they are, I guess you would call them a metalcore band, but their sound is really hard to pinpoint it to a specific genre. They're also part of the Christian metal scene, and one of the biggest names in that Christian metal scene. This album is called Exile, released on October 28th, 2022, album number 12 in their discography. This is also their first concept album. It's about like a dystopian future, and it's accompanied by a graphic novel that was written by Ryan Clark. So, a brief history of this band. They started in the year 2000. So they started by two brothers, Don Clark and Ryan Clark. So Don left the band eventually, but Ryan is kind of the main member of the band. And their first album kind of sounded more like Slipknot. It was like the self-titled, but later moved more towards like a metalcore sound, and then more into like a melodic metalcore. I guess you can call it that, but they are one of the most well-known bands in the Christian metal scene. So their last album was called Songs of Death and Resurrection. That was a compilation album of acoustic songs of their ballads, because they do lots of ballads. There was one song in there called Praise the Void, which is track 7 on this particular album. So that was that one original song. The last album was released in 2021, and now this album came out, and it's pretty good. I know it was delayed like a couple times, so it finally came out. For me, it has some elements of classic Demon Hunter, but they're doing some different stuff. You know, there are two songs that remind me of Alice in Chains, and they're going in more like a melodic direction. It's not really metalcore as much anymore, but there are a few songs where you listen and it's like, this is classic Demon Hunter. So let's talk about it. The opening track called Defense Mechanism, featuring Max Cavalera, probably their heaviest song, at least on this album. It just has these pummeling riffs and just Max and Ryan doing the vocals. This reminds me more of like a Soulfly song, something from their most recent album. Lots of heavy drum beats, guitar riffs, and just almost like in a death metal style. They got those like heavy staccato riffs in the middle of the song, got the breakdown, the heavy thrash metal style power chords, and this one's a real banger. Really like starts the album off, but afterwards the album kind of like gets a little more metal, so a little more like relaxed, laid back. Second song, Master. Ryan Clark sings in a clean style, has these stop-start guitar chords, and moving into more atmospheric style with a clean singing. And it's a little slower. It's a little more towards their like modern sound. I like the drumming. You know, they change the beat throughout, and some like cool electric guitar riffs and electronic sounds. They kind of have some soft parts with like the cleaner guitars, and it's just very melodic in general. Silence the World. This one has Thomas Englund from Evergrey, and it kind of starts slow. It has like this symphonic intro, and it kind of builds back up going to some heavy guitar chords. Brings in like the slow chugging beat, and it starts off with the melodic vocals by Ryan Clark. They add in some electronic sounds, and then Tom Englund, he does the second verse, and I think he's really good here because he kind of has more of like a higher vocal range than Ryan. You know, Ryan's more of a baritone, so that really works with having him on this song. And they do add in some slow melodic parts and kind of like a slow driving sound, clean vocals, and Ryan does some of those like typical Demon Hunter harsh vocals in the background. But it's interesting that they chose a singer from Evergrey, because I kind of feel that this band is almost starting to sound like the band Evergrey a little bit. So next, Heaven Don't Cry, a little faster, got the machine gun riffs. This is that classic Demon Hunter. This is that like old school Demon Hunter. So if you're looking for that, this is the song for you. Then Another Place. This is the first of the two songs that remind me of Alice in Chains. It's just that slow, like grungy sound. The vocals just sound a lot like Jerry Cantrell. I think it's Ryan like trying to like emulate him for some reason. Kind of heavier grunge riffs, and it has a nice rhythm. So I do like this sound for the band. I thought it worked very well for them. Then Freedom is Dead. It's a classic Demon Hunter song, just the heavy stop-start riffs. It's the old school Demon Hunter, so again, if you're looking for that, this is another song for you. Then Praise the Void. That is one of the songs that was on the previous album, and it's a ballad, a typical Demon Hunter ballad. But they kind of like updated the sound a little from their previous album. The clean singing, the keyboards in the background, slow and heavy electric guitar riffs, and the vocals are very melodic. It kind of like just fits the tone of the album. They have some distorted bass guitar playing in between some of the verses. You got this atmospheric breakdown with the clean guitars that play these arpeggios and with the melodic singing, and song kind of picks up towards the end. Then next is Revolutions. It's heavy at first. You get that like machine gun style riffs and like a fast beat. But then it kind of gets softer, so there's a lot of like balance between the soft and the light in this one. Then Chemicals, kind of a mid-pace, kind of epic. You got those staccato guitar riffs, melodic singing. This one's decent. I mean, it's not great, but I think it's decent. Then the next song is Godless featuring Richie Faulkner. Now, Richie Faulkner is the guitarist for Judas Priest, but this is the second song that actually reminded me of Alice in Chains. It has that 90s grunge sound, that like Jerry Cantrell style vocals. It's that like slow and sludgy type of like 90s Alice in Chains type of sound, and I like that type of music, so that's why I do like this song a lot. Ryan Clark, he does some of those like harsh vocals, but they're not really used as much, and neither are they throughout the album. So next two songs, Devotion, more heavy metalcore style. Got those like police sirens in the background. This kind of all ties into the whole story, and just lots of layers of sound. So this one's almost like industrial metal. They kind of have that like, reminds you of like Ministry with like the crowds chanting in the background. So that's pretty cool. And then the last song, Along the Way, it's just this long epic closer. It's a concept album, so you gotta kind of like close it out with like a long kind of like slow epic song. It's okay. It's heavy guitar chords, clean singing, and it might drag a little, but the vocal performance is very good. So my final thoughts, not too bad. This band is moving away from metalcore and more into a melodic direction. So there are more clean vocals. They still get heavy at times, but like I was saying before, they're moving towards a sound that reminded me more of like Evergrey or Coheed and Cambria. With a few of that like Alice in Chains a little bit here and there. So I don't know. It might alienate fans, but I thought it was pretty good. Production's very good. Everything's crisp. It's clear. Really good production. I think it might attract new fans of some. But it might like alienate some of the others. So that's good and that's bad. But I think in general it's a solid album. My score 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you thought. And this week I got some more new reviews coming up, so there were lots of albums really. So let's see how much I can do. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you all in the next one.